Hello, dear students. Before we start reading business studies, let us have some information about the syllabus of business studies for class 12th. Business studies syllabus is divided into two parts, part A and part B. Part A is said to be business principles and functions of management, and part B, business finance and marketing. Part A, that is principles and functions of management, consists of 50 marks, and part B, business finance and marketing, consists of 30 marks. And rest 20 marks are related to practicals. So in this video we are going to discuss about the principles and functions of management, that is part A. And in the same part, which is divided into 8 different chapters, today we are going to study the first chapter, that is nature and significance of management. In this chapter we have to study about the management, the concept, objectives and importance of management, the nature of management, that is management as science, art and profession, various levels of management in an organization, that is levels of management, several functions, major functions performed by management: planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. And lastly, we have to understand the concept and importance of coordination. Let us have once again that after going through this unit, the learner would be able to understand the concept of management. He or she will be able to explain the meaning of effectiveness and efficiency. So whatever topics we are going to learn from this chapter, that will be discussed in detail, and each and every learner will be able to discuss or to explain those various topics in an easy manner, and it will become easy for each and every learner to understand all the topics after going through this video. Let us first have the concept of management. As we know that management is a process of getting things done, and the aim of getting these things done is to achieve the organizational goals effectively and efficiently. One must remember that in an organization, goals are predetermined. There are certain persons who decide what should be the organizational goals. So that group of persons take decision how these goals will be achieved. Now there are so many persons working in an organization. There are so many personnel working in an organization at different levels. There is a hierarchy which is being followed in an organization. But the person at the top level, it is not possible for those persons to perform each and every task of the organization, as there are so many activities to be performed in an organization. There are two things. One is planning and the other part is executing. So there are some strategies which are to be made. There are certain policies which are to be made. There are certain there are certain important decisions to be taken. And all those decisions, all those policies are required to be executed by someone. So planning is one part, execution is the other part. So all these activities, which are divided into various forms, they are to be performed in a systematic manner, effectively and efficiently. Later, we will be knowing about these two different terms, effectiveness and efficiency. So, from this meaning or the concept of management, we can take out some of the key terms, that is process, getting things done effectively and efficiently. If we try to understand what is this process, process means a systematic series of actions directed at achieving some results. There are so many things, or there are so many goals which have been decided by the organization. These end results or aims or goals or targets may be in the form of achieving good amount of output, good amount of sales, good amount of profits, providing good services to the employees, facilities to the employees, giving fair remuneration. These may be, there may be so many kinds of goals which may be set by the organization. Hence, the management process is a systematic series of actions, and there are so many actions which are to be performed, like planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. So, all these activities or all these functions keep on running. So, all these are the functions which are on a regular, which are done on a regular basis. They are never stopped. They are never ending process. So far, the second point, that is getting things done, it involves getting the required work to be done by subordinates. There are two types of persons. One are superiors and the other are subordinates. So superiors, they try to get the work or the required work done by these subordinates. It means that a person who is, suppose he is a manager, he gives orders to another person who is subordinate, means working under him, to complete the intended task. The third one is effectively. It means that achieving the goals by doing the right things to achieve goals. Achieving goals effectively means doing the right things to achieve goals. Whereas efficiently means achieving goals efficiently means doing the work correctly with minimum possible cost. So in the case of effectiveness, there is no involvement of cost. You are just required to achieve your goals. That's it. Only achievement of goals means you are effective. But achieving the goals as well as at a minimum possible cost, that means that you are efficient. So these four terms are important from this concept of management. If you understand these four terms, then you can easily give the meaning of management. Like, management is the process of designing and maintaining an environment in which individuals working together in groups efficiently accomplish all the selected aims. So here are the two terms, effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness refers to the extent to which an organization achieves intended results. Whatever targets have been set, they are being achieved. That's it. But one more important point is added to the intended achievement of the intended results, that is minimum cost. If these intended results are achieved with minimum cost, then it will be termed as efficiency. Hence, efficiency means doing a task correctly. Up to this, it is effectiveness, but and with minimum cost, then it is said to be efficiency. Here's the difference. Like, the orientation of effectiveness is simply goal achievement, whereas efficiency means input and output orientation, means less input, more output. So far, emphasis is given in effectiveness, doing right things. All things are done, means whatever is given, you have done it. Whereas in efficiency, doing things rightly, the manner is correct, and cost incurred is less. So far, focus is given, simply achievement of the end results. But in case of efficiency, you have to understand the means. Means means whatever input you have given in the working, and what is the output. So means which you have used, the resources which you have used, that is very important in the case of efficiency. Now let us move on to various characteristics of management. The first one is goal oriented process. Uh, Actually, what happens, that management simply aims at achieving various types of goals which have been pre-decided, predetermined goals. Everyone has to fix an aim in his or her life. Similarly, management also has certain goals or certain aims or certain targets. So unless and until the goal is to be kept focus, the management has to focus on whatever goals they have decided. It means that there there is in their mind that they have to achieve the goals. So their mindset is to achieve the targets which have been preset. Hence, it is said to be goal-oriented process. If there is no goal, there is no meaning of management. So there are certain goals, and the management always thinks of achieving those goals in time and with minimum cost. So far, the end results are concerned, these goals are the end results which are required to be achieved by the management process. All types of organizations have a set of goals. All types of organizations, whether they are business organizations or non-business organizations, which are the basic reason for their existence. As I've already said, if there is no aim, there is nothing in life. Goals may be of different types of organizations. For example, the goals may be to produce the desirable products, or to earn huge amount of profits, or to discharge various social responsibilities, like goals of an academic institution. Suppose you are a student of Kendra Vidyalaya, or you are a student of any private institution. What is the goal of that school or that academic institution? That goal is to provide good quality education. And the achievement of all these things, that's why the results of Kendra Vidyalaya, they are performing like they are performing in such a manner that they have reached to the highest level of achievement of the results amongst so many academic institutions. So, so the management always focuses on the goals which are preset by them. Continuous process, this is another characteristic feature of management. It is a continuous process, means it is a series of continuous but separate functions. What are those separate functions? They are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. POSDC. All these functions are performed simultaneously. Means they are being done at different times, but on a regular basis by all the managers at all times. Thus, management process may start from any function on any day. Means planning can be started any time, any day, any point of time. Organizing process keeps on going. Staffing process is done throughout the year. Then direction is all given all the times, like supervision or motivation or leadership. And then controlling of all the activities, it keeps on going. These are never ending processes. So management is a never ending process, it's a continuous process. Dynamic function. Management is a dynamic function, and it has to adapt itself to the changing environment. The business environment keeps on changing. Every moment there is something new happening in the business environment. In chapter 3, that is business environment, you will be understanding about there are so many external forces which affect the activities, overall activities of the business. So if there is a competition, you have to adapt yourself with the competition. How? By bringing about changes in the technology. The organization may bring some new technology for which there may be some resistance from the employees, but the management has to make them understand about the utility of that technology, the benefit of that technology, and it should make its employees or its personnel adaptable. So management is a dynamic function. It makes itself as well as all the uh, workforce to adapt with the changes in the business environment. For achieving organizational goals in the changed environment, the management has to work according to the requirements of the environment at a given point of time. For example, just as I have already said, if there is a competition, the change in the technology must be brought in by the organization. Otherwise, the survival of the organization will not be possible. So far, group activity is concerned, it integrates the individual efforts in a common direction. Every individual is putting his or her own efforts in the organization. Now, it is the duty of management to integrate all those efforts and to make them work in group so that the management lead them towards the common organizational goals, that is common direction. All individuals work together to achieve organizational goals, fulfilling their own needs at the same time. Whatever requirements are there, whatever resources they need to utilize for the achievement of their individual targets, the management needs to provide them all those resources so that every individual puts his maximum efficiency, maximum capability in achieving the organizational goals. Next point is management is multidimensional. It has three dimensions: management of work, management of people, and management of operation. Management of work actually involves managing work of an organization. Various types of works are there, various types of jobs are to be performed in an organization. For example, in a factory, goods are produced. In a hospital, patients are treated. So, what management does, management translates this work in terms of goals to be achieved and assigns means to achieve these goals. So, this is done in terms of problems to be solved, like decisions to be made, plans to be formulated, and various budgets are required to be prepared. The responsibilities and authorities are to be uh, assigned and delegated respectively to various people. So far, management of people is concerned, since a good number of persons working in an organization, these are human resources, which are the most important resources of any organization. They are required to be managed. Every individual is having different uh, capability, different efficiency, different intention. So managing all these human resources is a very difficult task. Again, it has two dimensions. It involves dealing with employees as individuals with diverse needs and behavior, because the behavior of every individual is different from each other. And it also involves dealing with individuals as a group of persons, individual as well as group. So management has to deal these types of people in two different manners. And the task of management is just to make these people work towards achieving organizational goals. Because see, there may be different types of people who may resist, who may protest that they may not work, but the management does tactfully, it uses the tact that every individual comes into action and achieves the targets given to them. The management comes to know about the strengths and weaknesses of every individual, analyzes all these things, and then ask and that may then make all these individuals to work for the organization. That is called management of people. So far, management of operations are concerned, it involves managing those activities which are relevant for producing um, goods and services and making all these available to the customers. It is interlinked with management of work and management of people. So these three are the dimensions of management: management of work, management of people, and management of operations. Management is an intangible force. As we know that intangible means that which cannot be seen. But management applies its decisions. Management acts in such a manner that it cannot be seen, but the presence or the effect of that decision can be felt in the functions of management. Management is noticeable in an organization where targets are achieved. When the targets are set and they are achieved, it means that some force was there which has made people to work and to achieve all those targets. If the profit has increased, it means that the efficient workforce has been applied, whether it is in the force of whether it is in the form of managers, or it is in the form of subordinates, or whatsoever. So uh, and once the targets are achieved, the employees remain happy and satisfied, and this is there is orderliness instead of any kind of chaos. Every person works in a systematic manner, every resource is properly utilized, and there is no chaos at all in the organization. Management is pervasive. Pervasive means it is equally relevant for all types of organizations. All types of organizations, say it be whether it is a large or a small organization, whether it is a business or non-business organization, whether it is a public sector or a private sector, all over the world, management activities which are done in India, they are same being done in other countries also. The management functions which are done in a big organization, say it be Reliance Industries, same management activities are being done in a school also. So whether it is a trading concern or a non-trading concern, whether it is a big organization or a small organization, everywhere this management is applicable. A school or a hospital, both, they need to be managed properly. So these are the basic characteristics of management. Let us now move on to objectives of management. There are three different types of objectives of management. One is organizational objectives, another one will be social objectives, and the third type of objectives will be personal objectives. Let us first go through organizational objectives. These objectives are those objectives which, when achieved, they enable an organization to continue for a long term. These are of normally economic nature and are set in three terms: survival, profit, and growth. Survival means what? Existence for a longer time. So, survival objectives will ensure that the organization exists on a continuous basis, or it exists for a longer time. How will it be possible? This will be possible when you achieve good amount of profits, when you have satisfied all your workers, when you have satisfied all your customers. There are so many reasons for longer survival of the organization. In the previous time, selling was the concept being used. Nowadays, what happens? Marketing concept is being used. The organization which satisfies the customers will have a longer survival, but it will survive only when good amount of profit is also earned. So it is necessary that these two other objectives, that is profit objectives and growth objectives, they are again very important. What is profit objective? Profit objective involves earning good amount of profit by the organization. It takes risks. Risks in what sense? It has invested a huge amount of capital in the business, and every organization expects good amount of return on the investment, and that amount of return is said to be profit, which is the reward for taking such kind of risk. So every business expects good amount of profits, and profits are just the residual of revenues generated after incurring the costs. This is the excess of revenue generated over the cost incurred. So this should be larger and larger amount of profit. The more the amount of profit earned by the organization, the longer will be the survival, because the organization can fulfill all its requirements. So far the growth objective is concerned, it is a continuous growth of an organization. It means that continuous growth. Every organization wants to flourish, it wants to grow, it wants to expand or enhance the size of the business. It will be possible again when there is good amount of profit. So profit plays a very important role in the survival as well as the overall growth of the organization. You can take an example of Tata Steel, which was founded in the year 1907, and it has grown like anything. It has improved itself, it has grown in size, it has grown in the area, it has covered a big, what you can say, the area of the market. It has taken a good place in the market. Now it is said to be an international type of company, multinational company. So because of its continuous growth, it is said to be existing for a longer time, and nowadays this Tata Steel is having a very important position amongst different types of organizations existing in the world. So these are three organizational objectives. Another type of objectives of management are social objectives. Here are some points which you can go through and you can understand easily, that providing quality products at fair prices to customers. Customers always expect good quality products, and giving or providing these quality products is one of the objective, because social objectives means providing benefits to the society. You have to think about the benefit of the society. The organization is like an organ of the society, and it has social objectives to be fulfilled. These social objectives, once they fulfill, the society is happy. See, business cannot run without society. So you have to fulfill the requirement of society. You have to fulfill the desires of the society. And society wants good quality product. They want fair dealings. They want honest and prompt reply from the businesses. And government also expects honest and prompt payment of taxes. So this is the social objective of organization. It should provide employment to the disadvantaged group of people. It should try to establish schools and hospitals and creches, dispensaries for its employees, or for the welfare of the society. It should always protect the environment. It should not create any sort of pollution. It should preserve the social and ethical values, and it should always try to create the overall wealth of the nation. So these are some basic social objectives which you have studied in the in class 11th also. Then so far the personal objectives are concerned, these are the objectives which emerge because individuals join it to satisfy their needs. Management should always ensure that the personal objectives of individuals are definitely achieved properly. There are certain expectations of the personnel or the employees of the organization. What do they expect? Their expectation is fair and equitable remuneration, which organization must provide. Because once fair and equitable remuneration is given to the employees, they are satisfied, and satisfied workforce can take the organization at a very good height. Congenial working conditions should be provided to the employees, airy rooms, proper lighting system, their health system, all these things should be provided to the workers. They will feel satisfied. The reasonable job security, the employees must have such kind of security in their mind that their jobs are secured. If they do not feel about such kind of job security, they won't take much interest in the activities they are performing, and that may lead to their discomfort, and that may lead to the what you can say, even earning lesser amount of profits by the organization. Then training and development facilities should also be provided to every individual, so that there is always a development in the understanding of the employees, and they should understand how to work, how to use the resources. Then every employee should be given or provided the opportunity for promotion. If someone uh, performs better, he should be given promotion because he expects promotion. He expects a better position in the organization, and his work should always be recognized and should be appreciated in front of a good number of people. That boosts up the morale of every individual. So these are some personal objectives of the management which should be fulfilled time to time. Now let us move on to the nature of management. Um, Objectives of management we have finished. Nature of management. Management as an art. There are three basic natures of management. Management as an art, science, and a profession. As an art, we should understand what is art first. It is the skillful and personal application of existing knowledge. Whatever knowledge you are having, you have to apply those knowledge in such a manner that the desired results can be achieved. It requires, or the knowledge of art can be acquired through study, observation, and practice. There is a system through which, or there is a school of study, there is a school of knowledge through which you can understand what is art. You have to observe various things happening in front in your surroundings, and then you have to apply those in a practical manner. A dancer, he learns the theory part, he learns how to dance, and then he performs. That is the practical part. Then he comes to know what are right and what are wrong. So, in the knowledge of art, this can be acquired only through study, observation, and practice. So, there are so many characteristic features of art. They are existence of theoretical knowledge, means you have to understand the theory about everything. Art actually presupposes the existence of certain theoretical knowledge. Knowledge refers to what? The facts and techniques of a particular field. A dancer knows the details about the dancing forms, various forms he comes to know. A singer comes to know about various, uh, what you can say, in Hindi we call it as taan, the sargam. All these things are to be learnt. These are the theoretical part. There are different branches of art, and experts concerned them have developed knowledge over a period of time, like literature on painting, public speaking, etc. etc. So far, the personalized application knowledge is concerned. In art, also, there is personalized application of knowledge to achieve the desired results. This is possible because the same set of results can be achieved through a number of alternative ways. For example, there are two painters who demonstrate their arts in different ways, and both ways may bring the desired results. Two painters, they are performing the same thing but in two different manners. So, art can be performed in different manners, but the focus is on achieving the results. They are based on creative practice. Perfection in art is achieved through continuous creative practice. As we have learnt in our earlier classes, practice makes a man perfect. So, here practice, continuous creative practice leads to the achievement of the targets. This type of practice tends to bring innovation in the art. So, the management is an art because it satisfies all the criteria. What are those criteria? That the theoretical knowledge exists in management. In management, you have to study so many things which can be acquired through various studies. There are so many schools of knowledge where you can learn about the requirements of management. There is always a personalized application of existing knowledge in management. That is, every manager applies his theoretical knowledge in his organization in his own way to bring the same set of results. Two individual managers may give their opinions, two different opinions for one particular situation. That is their personal opinion. So, personalized application is there. That is also an art. That is possible by a manager, that he can give his opinion. So, two different managers may give opinion in two different ways for a particular situation. Then managers, they get perfection in applying theoretical knowledge of management to bring desired results through creativity. Every different manager has his own creativity. He can improvise his performance by his own creation. He should be innovative, and managers are innovative. He understands the situation and applies his brain how to overcome that situation. If the situation is adverse, he has to take decision to make it favorable. So managers, they uh, learn all these things by regular doing, means they have to apply all these things in a regular manner. Hence, we can say that management is an art. Now, another topic is management as a science. Whether management can be said to be a science or not, what is science? Science is also a systematized body of knowledge that explains certain general truths or operation of general laws. There is a cause and effect relationship. whatever formula, whatever rules have been derived in science, they are applicable everywhere. If we discuss about physics or chemistry or biology, these are all called pure science. And the rules or the forms or the, what you can say, the systems or the beliefs of all these pure science subjects, they are universally accepted. The principles propounded or principles formed in all these pure science subjects, they are universally acceptable. Same is applicable in India, same is applicable in other countries. And they establish relationship between the causes and their effects. Science has various features. The first one is again systematized body of knowledge, and its principles are based on cause effect relationship. That is, a particular factor has been caused by what factor can be explained in a definite way. Means, what was the factor because of which this or anything has happened? Suppose if you throw a ball up, after going upward, the ball will ultimately come back to the ground. Why? So the reason is the Earth's gravitational force. It pulls down the ball. It doesn't go upward. It goes upwards for a certain time, and after that it comes back. It doesn't keep on going upward only. This is because of gravitational force of the Earth. The principles of science are based on experimentation. Various types of experiments are done in the laboratories, and these experiments are conducted under different conditions. These principles are tested again and again for final approval. So, at the present situation, the vaccines are being uh, manufactured by different companies for different types of diseases. They are first tested on, say it be a mouse, say it be on monkeys, and then it keeps on being tested on all these creatures, and then it finally come on to human beings. So it means that these principles are tested again and again unless and until the final approval is given, and then that approved principle is applied, or it is applicable, or it is acceptable universally. Principles of science have universal validity. It means that they are applicable in the same way throughout the world that I have already explained. Management, although has some features of science, management also has features of science. Like it is a systematized body of knowledge like science. It has its own theory and principles. In management, cause and effect relationship is not in a definite way actually. Like increase in employee salary, this is a cause. Increase in employees' salary should lead to better performance. This is an effect. However, this cause effect relationship is not definite. Increase in salary may not bring better performance. All the time, if we say that the salary of an employee, if it is increased, his performance will also increase. It's not 100% correct to say. So, there are principles. It is a systematized body of knowledge, but this is not applicable everywhere. In all situations, this is not applicable. Then principles of management have been developed on the basis of tests and experiments, but they are also based on personal observations and principles. Therefore, these principles are not exact, because one manager and another manager, they may emphasize on informal, one manager may emphasize on formal communication, whereas another manager may emphasize on informal communication, and both may achieve planned targets. So two different persons may be acting in a different manner in the same situation. These are, the management is based on creative practice. Through creative practice, managers get their perfection in applying theoretical knowledge of management to bring desired results. So creative practice makes managers more and more effective. So there are certain points which are relevant to science, but Still, we cannot call management as exact science. It is inexact science. Why? Because management has its own theory and principles. In management, cause and effect relationship is not in a definite way, as I have already explained. They have been developed on the basis of personal observations and experience, means different managers may personalize in a different manner. Hence, they are not exact, because in one situation, one person may take it in a what you can say positive manner, another can take in a negative manner. One can act as a formal in a formal way, and another may act in an informal way. These managements are the principles of management are situation bound. Depending upon the situation, you have to bring modification in the principles, so they are not said to be exact science. So far, management as a profession is concerned, management, as we know, that profession is an occupation for which specialized knowledge, and so far management is concerned, it is having a personalized knowledge, and the training are required, and use of these uh, is for the large interest of the society. Management profession is getting or acquiring knowledge, huge amount of knowledge from a particular source. There are certain schools of knowledge from where the profession is acquired. For example, for law, you have to understand, you have to study from the law institutes, and for working as a professional, you have to get yourself registered in the bar council. For medical, there is a medical profession, you have to register yourself with the medical council or medical association. For that, you have to study in different medical colleges. So there they acquire the knowledge, they get training, and then they come into force. The various features of profession, they are well defined body of knowledge, means that can be acquired by the person who wishes to enter a profession. This acquisition of knowledge is in a formal way. You have to join to a body of knowledge. There are certain associations where you have to join, and you have to acquire the knowledge from there. In the case of profession, there is always a restricted entry. There are so many examinations being conducted, and you have to get through that examination, then only you will be getting entry into that course. And after that, completing the course, every person is not allowed to work as a professional. The persons who are registered with the council or association related to that profession, they can only work as a professional. So there is a restricted entry. Like in India, the Bar Council of India prescribes qualification for legal practitioners or legal practice. Medical Council of India, it prescribes qualification for medical practice. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, it prescribes qualification for being a chartered accountant. So everyone cannot be a chartered accountant. She has to clear the examinations, and to have to get the certificate from the ICAI, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So there are so many professional association associated with the profession, and all professionals are affiliated to their concerned professionals associations. These associations basically frame various rules and regulations for governing the profession. The Chartered Accountant Institute of India, it has framed its own rules and regulations for all the chartered accountants. The Medical Association has framed its own rules and regulations, all the policies and uh, rules which are prescribed for the doctors to work as medical practitioners, and so on. And there must be an ethical code of conduct. Every profession has an ethical code of conduct, which is framed by the concerned professional association. Like Chartered Accountant Institute also has framed a code of conduct. Institute of, or you can say the Indian Medical Association has also made some code of conduct. So there is a condition that there will always be a code of conduct in the case of a profession. And so far the profession is concerned, it is always a service motive. It charges fees for its professional services. So for professionals, clients' interest should be the first priority and not their fees. They should always think of rendering service to their clients, and fees comes later on. So these are the features of profession. Now let us know whether management can be regarded as a profession or not. There are certain conditions which are being fulfilled by management, and hence it can be said to be a profession. Like there is always a well established body of knowledge, uh, and acquiring this knowledge leads to a person becoming an effective manager. There is a body of knowledge. They acquire knowledge from the various institutes of management. There are so many associations of management like uh, IMA, that Indian Management Association, All India Management Association, IMA. There are so many other associations of managers, management professionals to develop their competence. There are so many associations which have made their own code of conduct for various management associations, and there is always a service motive which is emphasized in management practices. But still, there are so many reasons why management cannot be regarded as a profession. There is no restriction on entry in the management profession. Anyone can become a manager. Even one who is simply a graduate, one who is simply a 10th pass person can also become a manager of a company. There is no hard and fast rule that a person should have a degree, particular degree for becoming a manager in a company. So there is no restriction in the entry as a manager in the management group. So there is lack of a representative association. There is no as such any particular representative association available in India or any in the world which may lead or which may take management as a profession. There is always a lack of well accepted code of conduct in management. This lacks in every organization. Management has its own principles. Every person works at his own depending upon the situation. So there is no particular code of conduct for any management personnels. So in this way, we cannot say that management is actually a profession. So overall, we can say that management is not a full-fledged profession. So here it is, management is not a full-fledged profession like medical or legal profession. It can simply be termed as an emerging profession if there is a particular, what you can say, the representative association, or if there is a particular code of conduct for all managers, if there is any restricted entry, then only we can say that management is a profession. Now, various levels of management. In an organization, people are arranged in a hierarchy. What is a hierarchy? Putting people in superior subordinate relationships, resulting in a number of levels of management. Whether it is a large organization or small organization, there is always a hierarchy of persons engaged in an organization, like chairman come managing director, then chief executive officer, then president, vice president. There are so many positions in an organization. Superior, then subordinate. This is a relationship between two different personnel working in the organization. On the basis of this hierarchy, we have classified three different levels of management. They are top management, middle management, and lower management. These are the levels of management. What is top management? It consists of the senior most executives of an organization. There are various positions like CMD, that is chairman cum managing director, then managing director, chief executive officer, president or vice president of an organization. All these are at the top position. It is responsible, this group of persons is responsible for the overall management of the organization. They have to make policies, they have to frame the rules and regulations. Actually, they are performing some strategic tasks. They have to make some strategies for the development of the organization, overall development of the organization. That's why their functions are of strategic nature. The minds are being applied. Various, what you can say, the caliber or the talents of different personnel are engaged in that, in making different policies which are for the betterment or the growth of the organization. They have a long term impact on the organizational functioning. Whatever they decide, that will lead to the overall impact in the organization, and that will lead to a longer time impact on the overall organization. One wrong decision of the top management may take into the, what you can say, uh, take the position of the organization to the lowest position amongst all various organizations. And one very good decision may make the organization lead the group of organizations at that time. Now, what are the functions of top management? This group of persons, they have to take so many decisions. They are decision takers, they are policy makers, they are rule makers. They formulate various long-term organizational objectives which are to be achieved by other persons. They plan and they will be executed by others. They formulate all different objectives at that level. They also formulate the long-term organizational plans, their objectives, their plans. Then they have to make some broad policies. They have to uh, prescribe the overall organizational structure, the functional structure, the divisional structure. They have to decide what kind of organizational structure it will be, what will be the hierarchy, etc., etc. They appoint the key managers in the organization at different positions, different types of managers who will be having important positions in the organization. They provide guidance and directions to all departmental heads like uh, departments, the various departments, say it be finance department, then purchase department, marketing department. All these departments have their heads, and these top level persons, top management, give guidance and directions to all these departmental heads how to perform, what to perform. Then they coordinate the operations of different departments. They created function wise or product wise. As I've already said, the structure of organization, functional structure, that is based on function wise, and if there is a production wise structure, that is called divisional structure. Then reviewing and controlling the overall organizational performance, whether it has been done as per the prescribed form or not. Then they have to keep on liaising with the various external agencies like industry associations, the government, the shareholders, the financial institutions, etc., etc. So these are the external agencies with which all these top management personnel will have to keep on liaising. So far, the middle level management is concerned, it is the link between top management and lower management. It is in the middle position, and the titles which are given to the management working at middle levels maybe are different. Basically, they are production manager, marketing manager, finance manager, the human resource manager, plant superintendent, etc. These middle level management, they perform or they function, their functions are mostly of tactical nature. In the case of top management, we have studied about the strategic nature, whereas the functions of middle level are tactical nature. It means they have to use their tacts to complete the task, to perform the task and get the work done by their subordinates. And they relate to effective utilization of various resources which are committed to top management. All different resources which are committed to the top management, they have to be utilized in a proper manner, and they have to guide all their subordinates to get the work done in a proper manner. What are the functions of middle level management? They, as we have already discussed, that they work tactfully, and they perform or they formulate the tactical plans. They may be short-term plans for implementing long-term plans, or whatever long-term plans have been formulated by top management, they are now being executed by the middle level management by making some short-term plans to execute or to get the long-term plans achieved. To allocate various resources, that is human as well as non-human resources, for different activities of the department. They have to allocate how many people are required in one particular department. They have to supply whatever resources are required to be supplied to various departments. They have to take care of all these things. They have to recruit supervisory personnel, that is at the lowest level, who are in touch with the workforce actually. Then they have to guide and direct the supervisory management, that is the third level management. So the lowest level management, they have to guide what to do and how to do, how the resources are to be utilized. They have to coordinate functions of various sections of the departments, since every department has various sections, and the mid level management will have to look after all these various sections, whether they are performing in the right manner or not. Then they have to develop the supervisory personnel through training. They have to render or they have to provide training and development facilities to the supervisory level personnel so that they perform in a right manner. Then they have to review and control all the departmental functioning. Time to time, they have to get information or they have to get the feedback of different departments. Then they have to have controlling activities. They have to take decisions for the improvement in those different departments. Thus, it can be seen that middle level management functions are mostly of tactical nature and they relate to the effective utilization of various resources which are committed to the top management. Then the last one, that is lower level management. They're also known as supervisory or operational management, uh, which lies at the bottom of the management hierarchy. It deals directly with the operatives. Who are operatives? Operatives are the employees who are engaged in handling business operations. Their job positions are like section officer, foreman, store managers, etc. What are the basic functions of lower level management? They formulate day-to-day plans for carrying out the business operations as they have been directed by the mid-level managers. They have to formulate the day-to-day plans. The mid-level managers have made the short-term plans, and now these lower-level management will have to take the day-to-day plans, daily plans they have to make for carrying out the business operations. And whatever resources they get from the mid-level management, they have to provide all those resources to the required operatives. As we have already said, that operatives are the personnel working as subordinates. They have to provide the safe and congenial working environment or conditions to the operatives. They have to supervise and guide the operatives in a right manner. They have to see whether they are doing the task in a right manner or not. They have to provide training to the operatives time to time so that these operatives become more and more capable and efficient in getting the work done. They have to maintain good industrial relations with the what you can say the laborers working in the organization. There may be labor unions for which the lower level managers will have to have good relations with all those workers or the labor union. They have to convey all the grievances of the operatives to the higher ups, that is to the middle level management. And if the middle level management is capable enough to sort out those grievances, then it is okay. Otherwise, they will have to forward those to the top level management if these are not in the hands of middle level management. So reviewing of the performance of the operatives, they have to have control over the activities of the operatives. If they do not achieve the target, they have to take care of, they have to find out the reasons why the targets have not been achieved, and they have to guide the operatives how to achieve the targets in future. So these are three levels of management, and these are the functions of the management. Now, the major functions of management are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Here we have written a few points just to remember the meaning of all these five major functions. In detail, we will be having different chapters. Just going through this, that planning is just deciding in advance what to do and how to do. That is where you are right now and where you want to go. You have to plan for that, and it provides a base for other functions of management. So far organizing is concerned, there are various resources which are to be put together, and it involves grouping of similar tasks together. You have to identify different tasks, and you have to group the same tasks. You have to assign the duties to various employees, and you have to establish an authority responsibility relationship. You have to allocate various resources to carry out all the specific plans. So far staffing is concerned, it involves finding out the right people for the right jobs, because in an organization every time, for every different departments or different positions, you need to have good people. For that, there are several sources of recruitment and appointment. So that is called staffing. So you fulfill the requirement of all the staff members of the organization. So far directing is concerned, it involves various types of activities like leading, or you can say what you can say there are leaders in the organization who lead a particular group of persons, then influencing the employees with your words or your activities, and then motivating employees to perform the tasks assigned to them. So motivation plays a very very big role in the development of personnel and the overall development of the organization. And so far the controlling is concerned, you have to compare the standardized task and the task which has been performed, and if there is any difference, if there is any discrepancy, that should be overcome, and the required steps to be taken to remove to correct all these mistakes. You have to take the corrective actions to ensure that all the organizational goals are achieved as per the desire. Then we move on to the term coordination, which is a very, very important term. It is simply a process by which a manager synchronizes the activities. See, different activities are being performed in an organization, and if they are not synchronized in a proper manner, then you cannot expect the development of the organization. There will always be a confusion, there will always be a chaos amongst all the different departments. So it is needed that the activities of various departments should be synchronized. Every sections, every department should be synchronized, and so the achievement of the common goal can be made easily possible. It is like a common thread that runs through all activities such as purchase, production, sales, and finance to ensure that the work in the organization is being done in a systematic manner. It means that you have to keep all these departments in touch. One cannot work alone. They are all interdependent, so you have to make them realize that no one can work alone, no one is separate. So all these functions are tied up together so that the overall objectives can be achieved. Through coordination, the manager always ensures that everything is orderly done. The arrangement of individuals and various resources which have been provided to all these individuals of the organization, there is always a group effort which should always ensure the unity of action and the realization of common objectives. Means that the code in the with the help of coordination, the manager always thinks of uh, taking all the individuals in groups and integrating the group activities of all the different departments so that there is no confusion at all. They all work in a, what you can say, congenial manner, and the common objectives of the organizations are actually attained. So coordination helps in achieving the overall objective of the organization. It provides the requisite amount, quality, timing, and sequence and efforts, which ensures that plan the objectives are achieved with a minimum cost, minimum of conflict. Means that the manager will always think of bringing the efforts of every individual together. Means that it always takes care of that there is no conflict, there is no dispute between two different sections or departments, or even two individuals also, because if there is any difference, it will take a lot of time to bring them together. So the managers always try to bring coordination or cooperation amongst these individuals so that the target of the organization can easily be achieved. If there is any conflict, if there is any dispute between two different departments, it will be very difficult for the organization to achieve the overall targets. These are the basic characteristics of coordination. Like integration of group efforts, as I have already said that coordination unify these in the various interests of the different individuals or the departments. So this coordination, it integrates the group efforts and it unifies the diverse interests into purposeful work activity. Means that if there is any conflict, if there is any what you can say dispute among the different departments, it has to take over, it has to overcome all those differences, and it integrates all the group efforts so that the activity, the purposeful work activity can be easily done. Otherwise it actually gives common focus to group efforts to ensure that performance matches targets, because performance should always be good, and to achieve the good performance there should always be good understanding between different departments, and this understanding is created by the managers, and this creation of good understanding among the managers is coordination. It ensures the unity of action. uh, it is a binding force. It is again an intangible force which binds all the uh, different departments. By acting as a binding force between different departments, it ensures that all the different departments are united, and the united force will definitely lead to success of the organization. So performance of different departments proceeds in same direction. That is very important, and organizational objectives are definitely achieved if there is uh, the unity of action amongst all the different departments. So far the continuous process is concerned. uh, It starts from the planning stage and it ends up at the controlling part. That is, it is a continuous process. It is relevant for every management function. Like management process, coordination is always a continuous process. It always keeps on going, because if you stop bringing coordination between different departments, then it will lead to, again, towards chaos and misunderstanding among the different departments. It is again a pervasive function. It is applicable at all different levels of organization, whether it is at top level or mid level or lower level. Everywhere, coordination is very, very important. Without coordination, you can never expect the success of any organization. It is the responsibility of all the managers, whether they are at the top level or middle level or the lower level. Emphasis on coordination goes on increasing at successively higher management levels. So, at all levels of management, it is very important for the managers to bring uh, what you can say coordination. So, all managers perform management functions, and coordination is involved in the every management functions, whether it is planning, organizing, or whatsoever. Everywhere it is important. So, far the deliberate function is concerned, it is not automatic. Remember, it is not at all automatic. Managers have to make efforts for achieving coordination, because they have to think how coordination can be brought among different departments and sections and individuals. So this is not automatic. It is being created by the managers. It is a very big task. It is not so easy as we think of. So coordination plays a very, very important role in the development of the organization. That's why there are so many points which ultimately lead to the importance of coordination. Coordination actually leads to the growth in the organizational size. An organization grows in size not only in terms of its assets, but in terms of number of employees and departments or sections too. There may be lack of integration of efforts of various departments, sections, and individuals. Therefore, there is always need of coordination. See, if there is proper coordination, definitely it will lead to the overall growth of the organization. Every time the organization keeps on increasing the amount of assets, every time the number of persons keep on increasing, every time various departments keep on increasing, so there is always a need of coordination, and coordination brings growth in the overall organizational size. So far the functional differentiation is concerned, it means that there is diversity of functions, and functions of uh, an organization which are divided into different departments, and each department performs a specific type of function. And it is again very important that coordination should be there in various type of departments. Various functions are there. All the departments have interdependent relationship. It is very important, because one department cannot work alone. One department is dependent on other, the other department is dependent on the third one, and in this way this relationship implies that each department affects the working of other departments. If a finance department does not support the purchase department, if the marketing department does not support the production department, then there will be overall chaos in the organization. So there is always a need of a functional differentiation. That is, they have to bring the coordination among all different departments. um, Let us take one more example. That marketing department of a company, suppose, proposed to increase commission of wholesalers from say it be 10% to 15% to boost sale, but the finance department objects. It blocked this move, and on the pretext that it will lead to lower profitability. Now the marketing department tries to increase the sales, but the finance department doesn't allow to give that much amount of uh, you know the commission. Then that will be a difference of opinion between two different departments. So here comes the coordination. If both the departments agree on the same point, it means that there is a proper coordination, and the matter was resolved through interdepartmental meeting only. So meeting was held between the finance department and the marketing department, and the managers, they came into the common decision, and then only the performance was done. So far the specialization is concerned, there is always a high degree of specialization in modern organizations. This leads to employment of a number of specialists. Again, they tend to see the organizational processes and the problems from their own point of view based on their fields of speciality. This actually creates problems which can be solved only through coordination. Let us take one example. Human resource managers see employee problems from the socio psychological point of view, whereas technocrats, they see such problems from technical point of view. As a result, to increase the employee productivity, the different approaches may be adopted. Human resource managers, they put emphasis on the satisfaction of social and other needs of employees, whereas technocrats put emphasis on technical training. The optimum balance between these two approaches may be maintained only by proper coordination. One is thinking about the training of the employees, one is thinking about the implementation of technical training, etc., etc. So there is always a difference of opinion, and there is always a chaos in two different departments. There needs coordination. So different departments, if there is proper coordination, it will definitely lead to the overall success of the organization. That's all for today. All the best to all the students. God bless you.